You get married, tax cut, tax cut. If you you have kids within a fiscal year, tax cut, right? So keep a family being together actually hurts the government economically. And once you start to factor in, retirement, you start to factor in Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, life insurance policies, right? Because before insurance was mandated, the government used to have to foot the bill for that, right? Right. So once you start to do all of that, right, and then so breaking families apart was the smartest thing to do, and they're not going to do it to themselves, so they do it to us. Sorry, Dominic.
You good?
but yeah, that's what it comes down to, man. It comes down to all economics.
Definitely right. Definitely economics, man. So let's get into it, man. Can you hear me, Brother D? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Check one, check two, check one, check two.
I got you.
You got me? Okay. Let's go ahead and get to it. Let's go ahead and get to it. And let me properly bring you up. Hey, so y'all got a glimpse of the special guest is actually coming up on the Real Man Talk. We was behind the scenes talking. You got a glimpse of some of the conversation, but let's get into the topic tonight, man. I got Brother DeJuan J from the Grownmanlogic podcast. This guy is burning up the charts, whether it's Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, on the West Coast, Tennessee, Rhode Island. He's making a major impact in regards to just bringing families together and just keeping people informed. This guy's an author, still in the military, still working in the military as a sailor. Also, I did say author, didn't I? You're going to hear more about that. Got a couple of books that he will be talking about. Not only is he an author, man, as one of the best podcasts, also a father, a husband, also part of the 1% of black men with a master's degree in business, and actually in business. And one of the guys, man, that I have a great deal of respect because he's all about building family legacy. And because of that, man, I'm grateful to have him on the platform. And hopefully in 2023, him and I'll be working more together. And you should have caught the episode earlier this year when I had him and his special co-host, Kendra, on the show. He was talking about things in regards to just pushing the family and bringing things together. But none other, man. Let's go ahead and bring him up. Before I bring him up, man, check out this. I got to get a goddamn executive producer on me because I'm doing too many things behind the scenes, man. But hey, what I want you to do before we get into it, please share this channel, share this page. This is going to be very informative, definitely for those men who's looking for those answers, okay? We're going to talk about why men was failing drastically in 2022, okay? So DeJuan and I both are life coaches, man. We're all about helping, man, helping people. So please share this channel. If you know anyone that's going to benefit from this, share the channel, okay? Till then, we're about to get into it. Welcome, Brother DeJuan. What's up, man?
Hey, I thank you for allowing me to share a platform with you. Good sir. How's everything?
Man, everything is great. I thank you for coming on the platform, man. And I know we actually supposed to have met, I think a day or two ago, man. We had some schedule conflict, but overall, we are here, man. How's your day going, brother?
They busy but productive, and the productive the productive piece, that's the most important piece of it all. It's busy, but it's productive, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Idle hands at the devil's workshop, man. You know what I'm saying?
I'm glad you said that, man, because that's one thing I practice and I preach, man. We have to keep taking action and keep moving. And as you say, you're busy, but you're productive. That's the only thing that matters. You're being productive and you're moving forward, man. So, man, tell the people who don't know you, man, who in the hell is DeJuan, man?
Who the hell is the? You know what? I ask myself that question like every 10 minutes, right? It seems like the deeper I dive into that topic, man, the more and more it expands, man. Who is DeJuan? DeJuan is just a kid from Boston that grew up with a rough environment. That caught a couple of blessings from God. Was able to go to college, join the military, play some football, with and ultimately now I mean you named it off, man. Father, husband, author, poet, life coach, motivational speaker, and just somebody that wants to build better people through accountability and critical thinking, and ultimately bring us all together. I want to see us win. That's who I am.
Man, I love when I can meet people that share the same energy, man. And you and I got the same philosophy and same energy, man. I love that. It's all about bringing people together, man. And you said something behind the scenes, man. I want you to say to the audience. You was talking about, how your life is just happy. You always try to keep a happy mood, man. Talk about that, brother.
Well, I mean, so the joy of the Lord is my strength, right? Like that's me, right? So yeah, there's no time for bad days, right? There's no time for bad weeks, no, no. We have to get to a place, right, in our lives, right? And you as a life coach understands this, like more so than most people. But we have to get to a place in our lives where the moment may not go the way that we want, but there's no such thing as a bad day. There's just another opportunity to pursue excellence, and that's it. And it's a strange mindset to have, but God didn't give us, the mindset to be frustrated, right? It said that Jesus came that we might have life and that more abundantly, right? Or God didn't give us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. But a sound mind means that we're executing, we're finding ways out of our solutions, right? Sitting still and doing nothing are two completely different things. And a lot of us get caught sitting still, instead of a lot of us get caught doing nothing instead of sitting still. But when you sit still, that's when God's able to talk to you. That's when the universe, whatever your belief system is, that's when it can talk to you and talk back and talk to your subconscious to figure out what it is that you need to do. So I'm always happy because when I wake up, there's another opportunity to get it right, to be better than I was 10 minutes ago, an hour ago, yesterday. So I can't go into that moment with the baggage from like 10 minutes ago. I have to be happy about it, no matter what.
Man, I love that, man. I love that. And I was talking to one of my brothers, man, that I'm actually a person that I'm coaching, and that's one thing we were discussing. And it takes more energy to be fucking mad and angry than it is to be happy.
Hey man, listen. So yeah. So like, and here it is in the physical sense, right? It takes 42 facial muscles to frown. It only takes 5 to smile, right? So there it is in the physical manifestation of it, man. Why does it take? Why are things living rent free in our head? Is the real question, right? If it's not going to matter in 10 minutes, if it's not going to change the trajectory of our life, if it's not going to benefit or kill us, why are we carrying that with us? Now, I'm not saying that all my days are perfect. There are frustrating moments, absolutely.
Of course.
But why? So you have to sit down and take a breath. Is this gonna matter 20 minutes from now? No. 20 minutes from now, I'm jumping on the next plane. I'm in the next meeting. I'm having the next lunch. I'm on to the next thing. This is not even gonna. I'm gonna forget that this happened. And I feel like a lot of times, us holding on to that baggage, even for an hour, 2 hours. Those are 2 hours that you could have been doing something more productive. There's only 24 of them in a day, and you sleep for 8 of them. So you're down to 16. You spending 2 hours mad, you're down to 14. You're gonna drive for another 3. Okay, now we're down to 11. Right? You got 3 hours to focus on, emails, business meetings, or whatever. Right? Total 8 hours of what you want to do or what somebody else wants you to do because you're punching the time clock somewhere. So you only leave 3 hours for yourself. Who's getting the short end of the stick? I need all the time. If I claim to go get everything that people said that I can't have, I'm going to need time to do that, because a lot of people don't realize that time is actually our most precious commodity. It's not money, it's time. And when you go to work that 9 to 5, these people are telling you that your time is only worth this much. Unfortunately, it's an unfortunate circumstance that we need the money they're giving us to compensate us to live and to thrive, right? But don't cheat yourself. you have a maximum of 5 to 8 hours for yourself, right? To build a business, to take care of your kids, to love somebody, to go on a date, and all. And you're gonna take 2 of those hours away from yourself. Nah, not me.
Yeah, thank you, man.
I can't do it.
Thank you, man. Hey, and I wish more people thought like that, man. I love it. I love it. Shout out to brother Walter Glassby who's tuning in. Thank you for tuning in, brother. We're here with brother DeJuan J from the Grownmanlogic podcast as well as the VSOP Lounge. Brother, tell us
Hey,
a little bit about what was your childhood like, man?
all right. So my childhood was it was interesting. I for the first like formative years of my life, was I grew up like in Alabama, right? So I was born in Boston. I
Alabama.
went down. Yeah, Alabama. Yeah,
What?
so no, so I was born in Boston. I was there, and then my mom and my dad split, and for like a little bit of time, my mom moved back to the town in Alabama that she was from. I went to visit my father one summer. I think this was when I was becoming of age to like realize what the hell was going on, right? And my mom, I sat her down one day, and I was like, "Mom, you can't afford both me and my brother. Like I'm literally coming home from school, opening cans of pinto beans, to feed the two of us, right? The pantry barely has any food in it, peanut butter and jelly. And this is now a shot to my mom. Like I love my mom, she did what she could, but ultimately, right at a young, I was like, hey, you can't. I don't want to do this. I went to go visit my father. Like they're living better up there, so send me there. So I went back to Boston.
What? Hey, hold
Uh,
up. Let me ask you two questions before you go any further. What part of Alabama?
a small town called Heflin around Anniston and Oxford.
Anderson.
Uh,
In itself. Okay.
yeah, man. Yeah, around it's right around like about probably 10 minutes away, right outside of Anniston, right in between Anniston. So Heflin, Chulafeni, Ramblin, that area down there, like southeast, right? Heflin was literally the middle point between Birmingham and Atlanta.
Okay, I got you.
Cleveland County, they called it, right?
Okay. So at what age did you decide that you wanted to make the decision to go move with your dad?
I was 12.
Okay.
I was 12. So I go back up to Boston, and for those of y'all that know, Boston's one of the inner cities, right? So this was around the time where gangster rap was popular. I thought I wanted to be a thug, right? But my father was smart. Yeah, my father was smart, man. So I lived in the hood, but he made sure I went to school out there with the Jewish folks, right? So he made sure that I didn't get into no nonsense. So he sent me to Brookline High School. Shout out to Brookline High for providing my high school education. But those are basically like my formative years, right? I got to see the best of both worlds.
Okay.
I was able to experience the hood at night as long as my homework was done,
Okay.
right? And I was also able to have access to the resources that our counterparts had. The library, the financial information, the business sense, right? I was able to see how they moved because I grew up with them, and the kids don't know not to share these secrets. So I was able to do that and take advantage, and then come back to the hood and be like, nah, man, these white boys out here doing it like this. Here's what we got to do, blah, 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 second and third. So inadvertently, I learned how to code switch, right? Because I was the straight A, clean cut kid during the day, and at night I thought that I was somebody. I thought I was whatever the biggest gangster you could think of. I thought that I was him by nighttime, right? And I took a lot of ass whoopings as a kid.
Okay.
And because not from the streets, like from my father, because he would catch me doing stuff, catching stupid shit like dime bags of weed in my pocket, and you know what I mean. Like I think he caught a gun in my room one time. He caught me like I was selling drugs. I was making a little money. Back in the day, we
Banging, huh?
say it again.
You was really banging, huh?
No, I didn't really bang. I didn't really claim no set or nothing. I was just, hey, look, man, I need lunch money. I need the freshest J's. I need you know what I mean? I needed what I wanted to get the girls. The girls wanted the dudes with the nice sneakers and the jabos, right? I needed the money to make the jabos. To buy the jabos, right? So,
You going all the way back to the 90s, ain't you, DeJuan?
Yeah, hey man, that's what I'm saying. So, so think about it, man. Yeah, as a matter of fact, Cash Money was running it because remember that Juvenile had that T's, Bows, Reeds, right? Right, and that's what we was rocking. But in Boston, we switched it up. We had the Air Forces, right? Because the Air Forces switched the bottoms on the sneaker, and the bottom of the sneaker had to match the strap, right, on the jabot. And then, you had a shirt to match that, usually a big white tee, something like that, right? But yeah, man, so my childhood, I can't really say that it was bad. It wasn't a struggle, right? The early part of it was a struggle, but the latter part of it was actually a lot of people looking out for me in a lot of great situations because I was able to experience and get a proper education, but I was also able to toughen my skin with the roughnecks, so to speak.
Okay. Interesting, man. Interesting. And I didn't know they had gangs in Boston, man. So you kind of illustrated and painted that picture for me because I thought it was all about just moving weight there. I didn't realize they had gangs that way.
Well, so in Boston, you don't have your traditional, Crip blood,
Okay.
Vice Lord. We don't have those. You were from your hood, right? Your street, your block, right? So like I lived in between Blue Hill Ave, right? That's a great movie, Blue Hill Ave, and I lived between Blue Hill and Humboldt, right? I lived right behind Seaver Street where Bobby Brown and them grew up, down the street from Dudley Station, right, from where New Edition was formed and everything. So I lived in the suburb of Boston called suburb of Boston called Roxbury. So on one side of me, I had the Humboldt Raiders, right? Humboldt Avenue, Humboldt Raiders, right? And on the other one, I had the Blue Hill. I forgot what the name of their gang was, but like going towards Brookline, where I had to go to school, I was transiting on the city bus, and I had to go through Mission Hill. Mission Hill was a gang, right? Orchard Park was a gang, right? So you had neighborhood gangs there. So it wasn't, Crips, Bloods, GD. There wasn't none of that. It was, hey, look, we're not gonna mark you by your flag color. We're gonna mark you by the kind of hat you got on.
See, okay. Interesting. So let me ask you, are you married? And if so, how many children do you have if you have kids?
Yeah, been married for 4 years, been together with my wife for 7.
Congratulations.
Thank
Black
you.
love, black love.
Amen. So yeah, we have 4 kids, 2 of which I inherited, and the other 2 which I contributed to. Yeah, man, that's it's been a beautiful experience, man. Trying, but it ultimately taught me patience and forced me to be the man that I talk to people about on podcasts. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing like actually having people under your protection, right? So you think you're tough. You think you're tough until you have to send your baby to school, right? You think you're tough where everything's out of your control. You think you're tough until you walk your son down the block and you seeing what's on the news, right? And you're just waiting for the bus. You're praying that your son's on the bus, right? Or if you think you're tough until your wife gets into a car accident. You think you're tough until your daughter has a sprained knee or she took a sports injury at PE. You think you're tough until you're seeing teachers misconduct with students. And you think you're tough until then, but all this stuff weighs on the mind of a man, right? And I thought that I was tough. I'm nice with my hands. I'm surgical with the pews, and you know what I'm saying. And I thought that made me tough, but I think one day I sat down and realized, like once I think it was like 6 or 7, and we all sat down at the dinner table, and I was able to look in the face of every one of my family members, and I remember a feeling of relief coming over me. And I didn't even realize that I was stressed in the first place. Like it was the craziest thing.
Wow. So let me ask you this, because you kind of stopped. I thought you had something else that was going on with that. So let me ask you this: How do you feel being a husband, and how do you like being a husband? Let me ask you that.
Well, okay. Let's talk about it. All right. So, I don't like being a husband. Actually. So, and I think that if I was to retrace the steps, I would have done things differently. I would have chose the same partner, but I would have done things differently. Okay. And I say that because, you look at the legal system, and you look at, courts and divorces, and who has control over what, and who wins and who loses if stuff goes south, who can call the police and who can't call the police. What your life can be literally ruined, and it's all because of a contract that you signed trying to make somebody else happy. So my philosophy in life is aligned with the Bible. Obviously, he who finds a wife finds a good thing. But my personal philosophy is that it's much cheaper to pay a locksmith than a divorce attorney. So I think that I would have done things differently. So I don't necessarily like being a husband. How do I feel being a husband? Rewarding. It's probably the most rewarding thing that I've ever done. You take all of the military accolades, you take the 2 books, you take the spoken word album, you take the life coaching, you take the success in sports, you take successful business. Being a husband has to be probably the most rewarding experience that I've had, because it's not only do you scratch the itch of a man of being able to contribute to other people's protection and safety, but you're able to contribute to their happiness. You're able to lay down a foundation and make sure that your children are raised with good values. You're able to share your life with your wife, and once you do good things and she's looking back at you like, I'm so in love with this man, there's no more rewarding feeling ever. So I wouldn't trade it. So initially going in, I would do things differently, but I wouldn't trade the feeling for the world.
So you spoke on the rewarding factor on it. Let me ask you this: what's the most rewarding thing about marriage for you?
I don't know. So it's kind of self-serving, right? I just like with the life coaching, just like with the podcast, just like with the books, right? I ultimately want to help people, right? To know that I've added value and somebody's life is a little easier, right? And this is somebody who chose to be with you. There's no blood relation there. There's no anything, right? So the most rewarding factor is to know that you've done well enough in life, and that you're doing your job well enough you get to wake up to a woman who chooses you every single day. And that feeling speaks to your subconscious. It speaks to your very primal nature of being a provider, being a protector, being a lover, being a confidant, right? And that lets you know that, one, you came from good stock. Two, what you're doing, it validates everything that you're doing. And I joke around with my co-host Eric all the time. Like, once you become a husband, you have a family. That's what defines you from that point on. So it's like, if sometimes my family gets on my nerves, right? And I'll be like, hey man, hey listen. Hey look, no, I'm just like, hey look man, we got to call it like we see it, right? I think, but I feel like that's. I mean, we'll speak about this a little later, because I see what the ultimate question is scrolling down on the bottom. We'll speak about it later, but and not to give too much away, right? But sometimes my family gets on. We got to keep it 100, right? And sometimes I look at my wife and be like, hey look, take my credit card, take these 4 demons, and get the F out of here. I don't care where you go. I don't care how long you're there. I just need some peace and quiet in this establishment, right? And I need, sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens. I forgot where I was going with that point.
What?
But
talking about the most rewarding thing about marriage. That's what
but what I'm saying, so ultimately, even though all of this happens, right? And it'll tax you, it'll stress you to your limit, right? There's a lesson for me to learn here. Like, why am I not more patient? What about this incident set me off? Why couldn't I have handled this? And if we dig into it, a lot of the times that's when the wife comes in her inspirational self, in her feminine energy, being like, hey, what's wrong? Talk to me. And there's just another reward on top of it, on top of the self-fulfilling thing. It's having somebody to be like, hey, babe, look, I need your help. I don't need you to fix this. I just need you to sit down, be quiet, let me get this out. If you got something of value to add at the end, by all means, add it. But right now, I just need you to sit there.
And I like how you put that, Brother DeJuan. And this is the Real Man Talk here with Brother DeJuan J from the Grownmanlogic podcast, and we're talking about why men are failing drastically in 2022. We're about to ease into that, but Brother Juan was just talking about the rewarding thing about being in a marriage, and He also talked about how sometimes it's not always easy, being a father. Not so much a father, but just being a husband and a father, to be honest. And I can second that, man, just based off the variety of men I come in contact with in the coaching. Sometimes as men, we don't feel like that we're appreciated. And we're tested all the time, whether it's by the world, whether it's by your family, it's by your kids. Men are always tested. So because of that, that does become emotionally and mentally draining. And sometimes, as you just stated, you just want that time and that peace, man. And there's
Yeah.
nothing better in the world than have that peace. There's nothing worse in the world when a man don't have peace at his house.
Right. And to like go back to that point that I was making, right? So like it defines you, right? So like even though you tell them, hey, look, go over there, go do this, that, and third, but like when the wife takes the kids on vacation to your mother-in-law's house, what do you do? What am I supposed to be doing right now? I don't have lunches to make. There's no dishes to wash. This. What am I supposed to be doing right now? Like, can I call my boys and go out? Nah, I don't really want to do that. Can I can I spend a couple extra hours at the gym? Okay, that could be beneficial. Maybe I should read something. But we ultimately just end up, having a couple cold ones, watching the game or whatever, right? And like sleeping the majority of the time because what we have chose to attach ourselves to has then become who we are. And as a result of literally a piece of us missing, we don't know we're lost. We're lost because literally the people, your mission and your purpose is gone, right? Once you say I do, your family becomes your purpose. Your family becomes your mission. Your family becomes your charge. So if you tell them, hey, look, take this credit card, go, I don't care. What do? Right? My wife loves Target, right? Loves to go to Target. And I remember like back when I was like before COVID, like I would be on the show. I would come from a wrestling show, right? I'll be on like Thursday, Friday, Saturday night, wrestling in there, boom, 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 body slam. So Sunday morning, wee hours in the morning, 2:00, I get tired, right? I be tired. My wife's like, hey, let's go to Target. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I won't be doing none of that. No, I won't be. Sorry about that. No, I won't be doing none of this. I will be here, right? But then at the same time, like the minute she leaves, you're like, damn, it's quiet. I wanted this, but I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the married men out there can y'all, you feel me on this, right? Like, you just like, yo, it's the best and the worst feeling at the same time, right? Because you're just like, damn, well, my best friend's gone. She's gonna come back with a cool ass story, and I'm gonna be like, yo, I flipped from channel 73 to 78. Yeah. What do you do with that?
But I remember when I was a single parent and during the summertime, my kids would go visit their mother. And like you stated, I come back home, man, and damn, it's quiet. And this is what I've been wanting, but this is actually too goddamn quiet.
Yeah.
It's a balance. I missed them while they was gone, but at the same time, I'm like, I need this. So it's a balancing act, man, because that goes back to what I stated. Men are always tested. Not only tested, where if you're living in your purpose, you always have something going on, man. You're always moving. So the little time you have, you want to take advantage of it. But it's weird, man. And just knowing your background, being in the military, it plays even another factor because you're missing your family when you're gone.
Yeah.
You want to enjoy that time, but sometimes it can be chaos because there's just too much. I ain't gonna say noise, but just too much going on.
But so like that's a bar, right? And I talked to a client about that one time, right? And I think I'm not sure if we were recording yet when I was talking about sitting still and doing nothing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's crazy because it kind of puts things into perspective, right? Once you get that quiet time and you're sitting there, as a man, as a conscious man, a life coach will tell you that you're supposed to be on purpose, right? It feels so wrong to us because we're men of purpose. Right. We're men of destiny. We're supposed to be working on something. Yes, so the quiet time that you have should be, one, to listen to God or whatever belief system that you believe in, right? If you're a yogi, align your chakra. If if you're a karma person, you know what I'm saying, make balance with the earth. Whatever your belief system is. This is a long time with your higher being to receive instruction. And after that happens, you're supposed to get up and make moves, right? That time is quiet for a reason. It's not meant for us to for me to knock back a couple cold ones and flip from channel 73 to 78. It's not meant for me to sleep my life away. It's not meant for me to, sit there and twiddle my. It's not meant for that, right? So it's quiet. But anytime that in your life you find yourself and you're too quiet, or things around you are too quiet, you need to get up and make some noise. You should get nervous when it's quiet, right? The quiet becomes too serene, and then that serenity begins to be disrupted. Why? Because you literally get caught sleeping, and that's the minute that you get caught with something unexpected, because everything that's conspiring against you, and I'm not just talking about people, I'm talking spirits, I'm talking about momentum, I'm talking about karma, I'm talking about all these things that we try and manifest and burn saves to get rid of. All these things are creeping up on you, and it's quiet because you literally got caught sleeping, right? I remember that Bible verse where Jesus came back and he told the disciple that was sleeping, right? Jesus took the dude out to the wilderness. Jesus was tested for 4 days. He was out there putting in work.
Yeah.
And because he couldn't hear what was going on, or he couldn't see what was going on, the disciple that he took out, he came back, he's like, could you not watch when people went out? Listen, there's stuff for you to do. Your quiet time, yes, take what you need to rest and recharge, but your quiet time is not meant for you to become lazy and lackadaisical and rest on your laurels. Your quiet time is meant for you to fill it with mission, with purpose. Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a rant right there. My bad.
No, Brother DeJuan, you took the words out of my mouth, and that's one of the things I preach to the men out there, man. We don't have time to sit around. Now, I'm also playing video games here and there and watching the game here and there, but as a man, when you're on your purpose, you don't have that type of time just to lay around all the time.
Right.
Sometimes I got to sneak out of bed early in the morning because I know it's shit that I got to do.
That's right.
I lay in bed, but I can't lay in bed all day as much as I can't do it, man. Because there's always something that has to be done, whether you're working on yourself, whether you're working on your business, your relationship, your marriage. It's always something that has to be done as a man if you own that purpose.
Yeah, exactly. So I'll give you a personal story, right? So I was telling you, right, I just had my second, my youngest son, right, I should say, in June, right? So it was a troubled pregnancy. My wife, had a hard time recovering, right? So boom, boom, boom. I take some leave. I'm home. I'm doing everything, dishes, running up and down the stairs, making sure the kids go, have a good time. I'm taking them to the pool. I'm doing X, Y, and Z. So recently, our son, he wakes up in the middle of the night and he cries. So my wife would have him all day, right? Because she recently started working, but she wasn't working for like 8 months, right? And that was by choice. She was like, hey, look, I don't want to work. Okay, don't work. Fine, whatever. So I was like, so we were doing it. So I was going to work in the military, right? Plus doing the podcast, plus all this other stuff that you mentioned earlier. So I was doing all of this, but the only requirement I had was, hey, Monday and Thursday night I got a podcast, and in the morning I need to go to the gym. So she came to me and she said, hey, you get up and go to the gym at 5 and you don't come back until 5. It's just me with the kids for like 12 hours. And I'm like, okay. And she was like, I don't really like it's stressful, it's tiring, it's this, that, and third. I was like, okay, I'll tell you what. Here's what I'll do. Give me the baby. Give me the responsibility of the baby all night long. I'll take him. I'll wake up every 2 hours. Every time he needs to eat, I'll take him downstairs, take him for a walk around the house. I'll make his bottle. I'll change his diaper.
Good job.
Everything. Right. And I didn't do that. That was more selfish than it was for her. Right. So, some people that's going to hear this will be like, hey, oh, what a nice guy. No. This is about because I had a purpose. Part of my purpose is working out. I need to start my day working out. Otherwise, I'm off code. I'm off routine.
Amen.
So whatever it is I got to do to get to the gym at 5 a.m., that's what I'm going to do. So if I only sleep 3 hours a night, guess what? They make a juice for that. They make a coffee for that. They make some sea moss for that, right? They make some yohimbe bark and some ginseng for that, right? We're going to get up and we're going to make this thing happen, right? Because I'm young enough now. I got the energy now. So when I turn, 40, 50, 60, right? I should be in cruise control. Not resting, but in cruise control, where the business is pretty much running itself and my money's making money, and on top of it. So now, while I'm young and I got that fire, let me run with the bull. So I tell you what, you sleep all night long. But come 5 a.m., I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear it. And that was the bargain, right? I mean, not necessarily a bargain, but that's what I did, right? She's like, hey, look, I take care of the baby all night, said in the third, right? It would have been easy. It would have been easy for me to look back at her and be like, oh, I pay all the bills, buy all the groceries. It would have been easy and a very winnable argument, right? Or a very winnable discussion. But ultimately, right, as a man, my job ain't to be right. My job is to ensure the productivity and the success of my household, and at all costs. So if I have to sacrifice in order to get what I want, because I don't necessarily need to go to the gym, I could probably miss a couple sessions, right? You know what I'm saying? I could cancel the membership altogether, right? Because the military is gonna make sure I stay in shape, this, that, and the third, right? But it's for my mental health, my therapy, so I don't bring the world.
Again, man.
Yeah, for my mental health, for my therapy, man. Like, so I don't bring the world back into my house, man. You got dudes. I got clients that circle the block, right, 5 times before they go in the house. But that's what they got to do, so they don't go in there and smack their wife upside the head, right? And I'm not making light of the situation, right? So in order for me to, hey, look, I got to fight traffic. I got to fight the cops. I got to fight, the military and whatever that brings. And because I'm in a leadership position, I'm fighting the personalities of those that work for me. Fight traffic again. Fight the algorithms on all these social media networks to make sure that my podcast gets seen. I got to fight, with Amazon. Hey, man, you're not running the ad for my book. What's up? I got to fight with. I'm battling all day long. So at 5:30. If nothing else that day goes the way that I want to, notice I didn't say bad. If it doesn't go the way that I wanted to, at least I started as a winner. You know what I'm saying? And it's that important. I'll sleep 3 hours a night as long as I get to go to the gym 5 a.m.
Brother, we got to do a whole nother podcast on that, because I tell people, they're like, you love the gym? I'm like, I don't love the gym the way y'all think I do. I like going to the gym, but the gym is mainly my medicine to keep me sane, to keep me focused, as well as still just building that adrenaline. But I have to get that workout in, man, just to be productive. If I don't get that workout, I can tell towards the middle of the day, man.
Yeah, I'm sluggish. Yeah. I'm sluggish. Like, I will get what I need to get done because my name is on it, right? Because there's some pride attached to it. Right. But I'm sluggish. I'm fighting through it. I can't quite get out of the starting gate. I'm gonna finish the race, and it's gonna be a beautiful product. But I'm not gonna enjoy it as much because I didn't start the day that I wanted. You know what I'm saying? Right. Hey, that's a bar, man. That's heavy. Hey, listen, man, no. Hey, man. So listen, that's a fact, though, right? But here's the thing. Just walk away. Just walk away. Listen, here's the thing. So I don't know how this is gonna come across, right? But I legit discussed my divorce with my wife already, right? Because you need, in the words of Mike Tomlin, you need volunteers, not hostages, right? I'll be damned. I'll be damned if I'm gonna go clock in at somebody else's job and put my dreams on pause, all because I don't want to walk into my house because I don't like who's there. No, get the F out of here. Or better yet, you stay. I'll leave. Just walk away. Because here's the thing: what's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna go there, and let me give. Sorry, I know this is kind of off topic, but let me give men some advice right here. If you're not happy in your marriage and you feel like it's unsalvageable to the point where you have to get another job and the secondary income is not needed, it's over. So one, seek therapy, seek counseling, couples counseling. That's what I would recommend. Fall into whatever belief system it is, and if even that's not working and a divorce is inevitable, here's what you got to do. You file for the divorce. But on your side, you say, hey, look, I'm willing to pay this much in alimony, which is more than fair, and this much in child support, which is more than fair. When you file that with the magistrate's being like, oh, he put this in the agreement by himself. He's fine. Quick story. I told my wife, I was like, look, man, in the event that this don't work, I'm not getting married again. This is my first and only. This is my first and only one. And here's what's gonna happen. Like, you'll move out, you'll take half the stuff. And I'm good with that. I'll give you 34% per, 34% of my check, right? And plus alimony or whatever spousal support is. And you don't even got to worry about it. I'm gonna go down to the court, put myself on child support, and I'm still gonna take care of them. And that way, you can ensure that you're on the offensive, so you still get your visitation rights. You still get to see your kids. Nothing malicious has happened, and then you're on record for wanting to take responsibility for your actions. Just because I don't like where my seed came from, doesn't mean that my seed's supposed to go without. So once this happens, that's what you got to do. And people have to stop, discussing the end at the end, because feelings are involved.
Hold up. You talking about a bar? That's a bar. Say that again.
You have to stop discussing the end at the end. You need to discuss the end at the beginning.
There you
go. Because everybody's in a good mood, right? Everybody's happy. Being like, hey, look, and it's not a bad conversation. If anything, it'll tell you the type of person that you're dealing with. Right? It'll tell you, hey, based off of their response to, your need or your want to have this conversation, it tells you the type of person that you're dealing with. Because if they get upset, oh no, blah, 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 and I don't know that, and why won't you think that's so unromantic? Listen, bro, here's the thing. We have to stop romancing. We have to stop romancing marriage. Marriage is a business.
Oh, wow.
Marriage is a business. Think about it. Think about it, right? If that's the case, if marriage wasn't a business, there would be no need to sign no contracts. We wouldn't get all these tax cuts. We wouldn't get, half. There will be no court proceedings, no legal proceedings, no civil suits, no alimony, no child support exchange, right? So we have to stop romanticizing marriage, right? Who you choose to love is love. Who you choose to marry is a business. So you need to start looking at that. Hey, look, assets versus liabilities. What's your debt look like? What's your credit score? What can we get a loan for this house? How you operate, and can I see myself building a business with you, right? But if we're claiming to be partners and we're on a team, I need to make sure that when I put all of the risk in, that I get some of the reward too. Marriage is a business, and anybody who look at it like this: if you base your marriage off of love alone, you'll never be happy 100% of the time, right? Because love is fleeting, right? I might be in love with you today, and you piss me off, and now I don't like you. I love you still, but I don't like you, right? But this is the foundation that we're building our marriage on. Nah, we can't operate like that, right? We have to realize that it's a business. We have to treat it like a business, and I'm talking to marriage itself, not the people, right? Just so your listeners don't come for me in the comments. I'm talking about the institution of marriage in itself is a business, man. It is a contractual obligation. Other than that, what changes other than you signing a piece of paper?
So you make a valid point, man. I was doing a series called "What Does Marriage Mean to You," and during that series, which we'll be releasing next year, I did it intentionally to pretty much not generalize, but I wanted people to see the different reaction from different ethnicities as well as different races, how they view marriage. And like as you stated, it's a business. Even if you look at the Indian culture, man, it's a business. And even before you can get married, man, you got to even prove that you have the finance to even take that woman on. You got to prove to that family that you can take this woman. So once again, it's a business, and once they bring you into the family, the whole family is coming together.
Bro, if you look at marriage in other cultures, right, especially like India, Thailand, places like that, you literally pay for your wife, right? You have to pay a dowry, right? Right? You have to pay either 9,000 baht. You have to buy a cow, and it sounds funny, but I'm not even like kidding. These are literal like dowries that, whatever the father of that bride wants, that's what you're paying, right? And so it's transactional from the very beginning. So why then are we letting Zabirs and Every Kiss Begins with K and Hallmark and the Rose person and the limo person and the nice restaurant person? Why are we letting them conspire to? They're in it for business. They romanticize it to you. They preach it. They say, hey, man, your man loves you because he buys you as a beer's diamond. Or Every Kiss Begins with K. Okay, fine. Cool. Okay, fine. Cool. Right? But at the end of the day, even all that money, right? You can call it an investment. The gold and the diamonds, they're an investment, but who's leaving with that? Not you. Right? You're not getting no ROI in the event that thing goes south. Right. You're belly up, essentially. You have to start all over. Rebrand. right? You know what I'm saying? Even changing the last name is a rebranding, right? Your last name was Smith, and now your last name's O'Neal, right? You rebranded. That's not the person I used. That's not the person I have no more, right? And we just have to get into that mindset and call it what it is. So instead of being like, oh, I love this person so much, I would marry them today, and I could spend the rest of my life with. Okay, cool. You spend the rest of your natural life with them, but can you build a business with them? Can you build a future with them? Can you build a legacy with them? What's it going to look like for your children? Or is this a selfish person? Is this a jealous person? Is this an arrogant person? If this is a self-centered, a narcissistic person, a toxic person, can I build a future and a legacy with this person? And that's what we have to start looking at and break it down literally bullet point by bullet point. Listen, I'm a strong proponent of couples having quarterly meetings. Right, we come into the table with a notebook. We're gonna sit down with all our grievances. We're gonna air them joints out. We're gonna sit at the kitchen table and being like, hey, here's what I love about you. Boom, 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 boom. Here's what I think you need improvement in. Boom, 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 boom. And then here's what I absolutely dislike about you that I wish you would change. Boom, 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 boom. Right, and then you sit down and you have a productive conversation. It looks something like this. You said this. I heard this, and from that I understand this. Is that correct? And then they acknowledge that it's correct, and now you can move on to the next point. You have to sit at the table and get clarity. You need quarterly meetings, quarterly check-ins, and that's the most it should go, right? You can do these weekly if you want to. You can do these, you know what I'm saying, every 3 days if you need to, but you have to have check-in. The president gives a State of the Union every year. Why are you not doing the State of the Marriage? The CEO gives a State of the Company address. Why are you not doing that for your marriage? The Reverend gives a State of the Church address. Why are you not doing that for your marriage? Freemasons, right? We give a State of the Lodge address. Why are you not doing this for your marriage? If everything around you that you're a part of is doing something and you're not doing it, you're wrong.
You're exactly right, bro. I second that. Here in my household, we have weekly meetings. Every Wednesday, now we meet to talk about what went right and what didn't go right.
Yeah.
And it's been working. Is that communication, constantly keeping it going, man, and just identifying those things. So I love the game that you just gave the listeners out there. He just dropped what I call a shit full of game. If you was going to a marriage counselor, that's what they would give you. So he gave you some free game here on the Real Man Talk. I'm here with Brother DeJuan, man. We about to get into this topic. I didn't think we was gonna carry this conversation this long, but it's been an amazing interview so far. But we about to take a 2-minute commercial break. And we're going to get into what y'all want to know, why men are falling drastically in 2022. Stay tuned.
Welcome to Houston's Notary, the fastest and most efficient mobile notary service. Houston's Notary pride itself on following up with their customers and making them feel at ease. Houston's Notary has the finest notaries that provides many services, such as loan closings, fingerprints, cash outs, affidavits, wills, trust, power of attorneys, employment verification, documents for immigration, and legal documents. Wow! So many services that all you have to do is call. Toll free 1-844-292-5562 or 713-956-6485 or visit HoustonsNotary.com. Let us be your notary.
Many people are tired of typical pharmaceutical drugs that have major side effects and causes addictions. The federal government has legalized CBD in all 50 states. CBD binds to the CB pain receptors in your body. The Houston Health and Wellness Company offers many products that can help you immensely. The consumer favorite gummies are delicious edibles that you can take and attain immediate relief. The tincture is a CBD product in liquid form that you place under your tongue that also comes in a variety of flavors. For those aching joints and muscles, Houston CBD has a full-spectrum salve with various all-natural ingredients that will help provide relief. They even have CBD for dogs. Yes, CBD for dogs. Botana oil from Dr. Sebi's Usha Village. It's an all-natural oil from the Botana plant that has been known to help hair grow at a rapid rate. It can be used as a moisturizer for your skin. Best of all, it's all natural. They also have elderberry syrup for your immune system. Go to www.houstonscbd.com. That's Houston with an S, CBD.com.
You might be asking yourself, Why should I choose SRI Creative Studios? Well, it's simple. Since 2010, SRI Creative Studios LLC has believed that you should be able to present the image of your business to your customers in the most efficient and cost-effective way. That's why today, SRI Creative Studios LLC continues to provide professional, affordable graphic and web design services to all industries. Visit us today at srididit.com so you can say SRI did it. Hey, you. Yeah, you. Come a little closer. Did you know that you can earn money reselling our products under your brand? The SRI Creative Studios LLC reseller program provides everything you need to sell domains, hosting, email, website building tools, and SSL certificates. Our program includes white label products, a professional storefront, and the freedom to set your own prices. We even process payments, so you don't need your own merchant account. Visit us at srididit.com so you can say SRI did it.
Hey, what's up? Welcome back to the Real Men Talk Show, where I have brother DeJuan J from the Grownmanlogic podcast, and we about to dive into why men are failing drastically in 2022, so we can move into 2023 being more intentional and being much better than 2022. So, before the commercial break, brother DeJuan was talking about the benefits of marriage as well as the benefits of being a husband, and we got into the details, man, about just how to communicate, especially if you're in a relationship that's not doing too well, or you're in a marriage that's not doing too well. As brother DeJuan stated, man, this needs to be communication that needs to be had often. Definitely, as I stated, my wife and I, we do it weekly. Brother DeJuan recommended at least quarterly. You should be doing this. But it's very important, man, that you establish that communication piece. That's one of the challenges that, we possibly going to be talking about in regards to just why men are failing drastically in 2022. Part of it is communication. So the Real Men Talk, once again, we're all about, men, building better men. Helping people define their purpose and that gift and getting them into that purpose. And if you want to turn it into a business model, we go help you turn it into a business model. You can always go to CoachHightower.com and you can find more information about the services that I provide. But we're about to get back to this conversation with Brother DeJuan in regards to why men are failing drastically in 2022. If you would, please share the video. Share this page to anyone that you think may benefit from this. So anybody that you think will benefit from this, definitely share it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, definitely go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel. I'm about to bring Brother DeJuan back on. Once I get his camera back on, we'll be bringing him back on here. We're going to dive into this, why men are failing drastically in 2022. Man, you definitely need to be paying attention to this, because in 2023, man, we need to be moving in strong. I want to be to provide some more valuable knowledge, as well as some tools and strategies that you can definitely utilize for yourself, as well as for your family. Depends on which way you want to move. I do free consultations, so you can go to CoachHightower.com and find the scheduling and book a free consultation with me, man. And let's see what we can do to get you going. Let me see if I can bring Brother DeJuan back on here. Okay. But DeJuan, I need your camera to come on so I can bring you back on, brother. But also, come May 3rd, I will be in the Dallas area. The Real Men Talk will be in the Dallas area. We will be partnered with the Gentleman Roundtable, amazing group of guys up there. We will be celebrating the men for 2022. We also will be networking and just going to have a good time, man. So if you're interested, hit me up on the DM, because actually today is actually the last day to pay the money, but I'm pretty sure I can talk to the guy up there and see if we can extend it by one day. But May 3rd, you definitely want to meet us up there if you're interested in networking with other men that's moving forward and that's been very productive in the community. Now let's get back to this conversation in regards to why men are failing drastically in 2022. I want to ask my brother DeJuan, what do he think? So let me bring him back on. Brother DeJuan, what's up, man?
What's happening? Sorry, hey man, I was having a little technical difficulties down there. I don't know. I think, see, that's the thing. I gotta get like you, man. I gotta get a laptop set up there with, some 4K. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you was kind of breaking up. You was kind of statically for a minute. Speak again.
Can you hear me now? Check.
They got us like on a 3-second delay.
Oh man, I gotta upgrade my system, man. Next time I'll be ready. I promise.
Not a problem. Let's see if I can do this. Check 1, check 2.
Check mic, check 1, 2.
Yeah, they got us on a 3-second delay.
They care what you're gonna say, man.
Come on, man.
Should I even come back?
Come on, we know the deal, man. We know the deal. But we go adjust. We know the deal, man. Whenever we start talking about things that they don't want us to talk about, all type of things like this happen, man. So we go deal with it. But let me go ahead and throw this question up on here so we can get into it, because I know it's men that want to hear what's going on and how they can navigate this. So the question I want to ask you, man, what are the 2 biggest challenges that you see with men in 2022 in regards to just your coaching and the podcast and the variety of topics you talked about? What was the 2 things that you seen that was the biggest challenge for men this year?
Fear and lack of a safe. Because we're ready to speak up. As men, we've lost our power. We've lost the ability to lead, right? And
we got a bad connection. I'm not for sure what's going on, but it's a bad connection. It's like your mic is popping, static, and they got like a major delay.
Hold on, check.
There we go.
Should I leave?
It's also, I don't know if you got something else on, but it's like a feedback or an echo that's coming back when you're talking.
How about now?
That's better. It's still a 2-second delay, but we can mess with 2-second delay versus the echo.
Got you. I was sitting too close and it was popping. My headphones was feeding back into the mic. Fear and lack of a safe space. I say because men are hurting. Men are going through these things in silence. They're afraid to speak up because we don't want to seem unable to lead. We don't want to seem incompetent or unable. At the same time, there's been this is a condition. Social media has created.
I want to make sure we get this sound together because they got to hear this information. Did you do anything different before you went to the break? Because whatever it is, it like changed everything with your sound that's coming in and out.
No. Let me leave you and then bring me back up.
Okay. So while Brother DeJuan leave and come back up, let's talk about some of the things that the Real Men Talk is doing in 2023. You all haven't seen me a lot, man, because I've been extremely busy with a lot of other things that make this podcast, as well as to make the Real Men Talk work. We're doing more coaching, man. Mr. Gladstone, I can't hear you, but can't hear you right, but not him. Okay, I'm not sure what you're saying, brother. But in 2023, man, we're going to be doing more things, man. 2022 has been an amazing year. We'll talk more about that later on. But besides the coaching, man, I've been doing a lot of coaching, helping a lot of people, seeing a lot of breakthroughs, man. And I can tell you from experience, men, I can hear you, but not him. Okay, thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I would tell you, ladies, the men are out there putting in work, man. I can tell you the men that I'm associated with, they really are hungry and they want to be better men. They want to be better husbands. They want to be better entrepreneurs. So the men I'm talking to, man, they're really putting in the work. And one thing I'm liking and I'm noticing, man, is all the way as young as I would say 24 years old, all the way up to 72 years old. Yes, all the way from 24 to 72. That's a major gap. And in between that 24 to 72, we're coming together, man, but the knowledge is coming from the 72-year-old in regards to just the knowledge and experience. But from the 24-year-old and up is also bringing in the knowledge as well as the technical experience with the new technology. But also they telling us what they're needing and what they're wanting. And as we dissecting these different challenges, we're coming together, man, and we're making so many different strides, man, that some of the things that the men probably didn't get at their childhood that's now older in their lives are able to actually give it to the younger gentlemen. And it's a beautiful sight to see, man. It's kind of hard to put it in words, but I can tell you, man, it's a lot of progress that's being made. It's becoming more of more men groups. It's becoming more men that's willing to talk about some of the challenges and experiences, and they're also willing to put the work in. So it's been a major change that's taking place, man, in regards to that. So come 2023, you're going to see the Real Men Talk doing more events. We all got one event scheduled, probably going to be having 2 or 3 more scheduled. But as Brother DeJuan, y'all didn't hear Brother DeJuan, I was talking behind the scenes before I brought him up. And one of the things that we really are about doing, definitely the Real Men Talk, I'm all about, man, bringing families together, keeping families together, and also building better men. We got better men, you got stronger families. And with that, man, we also can move into business. A lot of men want to move into business. So we're providing a lot of business coaching, man. So it's been really amazing for 2022. So I can't wait to see what 2023 will have in store. I think this year I did 2 books, and I really didn't talk about them 2 books, man. I need to promote myself more. I don't promote myself enough. So I'm going to talk about the 2 books probably in 2023, man. But it's been an amazing year, man. And just talking to Brother DeJuan behind the scenes, man, all the stuff that he's doing, man. Men are putting in the work. Men are waking up, man. And that's an amazing thing. But let's go ahead and get this topic and see if my brother sound is working. What's up? Check 1.
Check 1, check 1. I switched. I should be good.
We're back in business.
Hey.
So, man, what are the 2 biggest challenges that you've seen in 2022 with men?
The 2 biggest challenges: fear and a lack of a safe space. Right. So I speak frequently about utilizing your network, leveraging your network. As a man, right? Nobody is built on self-success. There's no CEO, no kingpin, no top rapper who's done everything by themselves, right? So let's break it down first. First thing is fear. There are a lot of men that are, like you said, waking up right before you brought me back up. There's a lot of men that are waking up that are realizing that they experienced something traumatic, that experienced some hurt, that experienced some pain, maybe not healed from past relationships, things of that nature, that they are afraid to speak up because they think it makes them look weak. They think it makes them look incompetent. The man thinks that it makes them incapable of leading. So there's a fear there, and that fear often turns into resentment and anger. And that resentment and anger then bogs that man down and stops him from being productive. It's like the ropes on a hot air balloon, right? You start to press it and the gas goes up and the gas goes up, but you still got these sandbags on the side of the hot air balloon to regulate its height. And that's what every one of these fears are doing. It's regulating the height of the man and stops it from flying to its maximum potential. But it's not until we begin to drop these sandbags off, unpack them, let the sand free flow, that we can fly to our highest potential. And lack of a safe space, and this comes primarily from women. Ladies, I'm not at y'all. I swear I'm not at y'all. But let's just call a spade, right? Um, Again, for the same reasons. There's a lack of a safe space. There's an overwhelming fear. Well, in my clients, there's an overwhelming fear that anything that they disclose to their spouse, wife type, that is going to be used against them later, or it's gonna come back to bite them, or it's gonna make her lose confidence in the physical, emotional, financial security that he can provide for her, thus questioning his authority, thus putting the relationship in the proper order of things in peril. So the long answer is fear, or the short answer I should say is fear and lack of a safe space.
And lack of a safe space, man, we find that's more and more common. And once again, thank you for your platform because your platform provides somewhat of a safe space for men as well as the real man talk. And you hit on something that I definitely have to touch on. You talk about sometimes men express themselves to their significant others or their wives, and it gets used back on them later on.
Yeah.
I want to talk about that because I talked about that in one of my ladies. You have to be very careful because that goes back to that man being very vulnerable. And if he can't be vulnerable with you, that can be a major challenge because it's very hard for a man to let his guard down and be vulnerable with the person that he trusts and loves, for you to take it as an instrument or as a weapon and use it later on. That kills the whole trust, and you don't realize it's like a chisel that you pretty much taken off that man. So you
Yeah.
have to be very careful, even with your sons. When your sons and your kids come to you, they come to you because they're vulnerable and they trust you. And for a man to trust you with that and for you to use it, it can be very detrimental.
So, and I coach from the opposite side, right? Like we were talking about that positivity earlier. Ladies, one of the biggest compliments that your man can give you is complaining to you. That
Mhm.
means he trusts you enough to be vulnerable with you. He trusts you enough to have his back. He trusts you enough to either A, help him figure it out, B, tell him that it's going to be all right, or C, remind him of who he is. And so when a man complains, he's one, it's at a last result. Like brother, can you tell me the last thing you want to do, right? Sometimes is tell your wife, man, I'm not really with it. I ain't with it today, right? That's one of the last things you want to go home and say, because we like to give the impression, self included, we like to give the impression that everything's under control, that
Right.
it's going to be good. We don't want to upset the apple cart, and I'm not sure if that's ego. I'm not sure if that's what we've been taught or anything like that. But the last thing that I ever want to tell my wife is that, hey, listen, I'm not with it today. I'm feeling down. That's the last thing I want to say. So if I'm coming to you, that means I trust you, right? I'll call you and be like, bro, look, just give me a sounding board for like 10 minutes before I call my wife,
Right. Right.
right? Because when I walk back through the door, she needs to see the well composed Superman that she believes that I am.
Right.
So it's now becoming cool to become vulnerable to your wife, and I think that today's generation of women, the real women, I'm not talking about the thought pockets we see on the social media. I'm not talking about Nikki and Cardi and them. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the real women. I'm talking about our Nia Longs. I'm talking about our, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking
Okay.
about our right, yeah, yeah. I'm talking about to the women, right? I think they've always been accepting and had their man's back, right? To look, grab you by the chin, by the beard. Hey, remember who you are. And when that feminine, I feel like I can conquer the world. I'll run through 10 brick walls. My wife grab me by the beard and tell me that. You know what I'm saying? And, but there's not enough of that going around, man. And I think that not to point the blame at the last generation, but to point the blame at the last generation, there wasn't enough of that taught. Women aren't taught how to be wives anymore. Women aren't taught how to be inspirational anymore. Men aren't taught how to lead anymore. Right? So we think that, rest in peace to the Godfather, right? Everybody wants to be high value until it's time to do some high value shit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. We wanna be high value when it comes to the cars and the suits. We wanna be high value when it comes to the the way that we talk and our attitude and our mentality. But what about the nurturing, the grinding, the tilling of the soil that it took to get me to this point? Because that's what keeps me humble, right? You're not high value man if you're not adding value to anything or anybody around you. Everybody wants to be high value, so it's time to do high value shit. And because of the lack of teaching, now that's what makes people like him so valuable. That's what makes people like the MTR, mediocre tutorials and reviews. This what makes people like that so valuable. Even to a degree, Andrew Tate. Now I know. Don't stop throwing the rocks at me. But if you listen to the message, he's not all the way wrong. And I don't think anybody is. I don't think anybody's all the way right. I don't think anybody's all the way wrong, self included. But yeah, man, that safe space is so all important, man, because that's what keeps the balance inside of the household. That's what keeps the balance inside of our relationships. Is that balance in that safe space where I can come, hey, no holds barred. I'm not gonna disrespect you. You're gonna trust that I'm not gonna disrespect you, so you allow me to speak freely.
So you said fear and a lack of safe space for men in regards to just some of the challenge that you've seen, as well as we talked about men that's not able to be vulnerable. When they try to be vulnerable, sometimes it gets thrown back at utilized as a weapon. Let me ask you, can it be, in your opinion, and based off your coaching and the constant conversation, can a men be too vulnerable?
Yeah, 100%. Hey, listen. Here's the thing, right? And I'm gonna use this, and I mean it exactly the way that I'm saying it. You can't be a bitch, right? you can't. Right. You can't be a bitch, man. Right? It's one thing to be at your wit's end, right, and want to go talk to this woman, and complain about how your day is, and if you're having a tough time, you ask her for help or some advice or some restoration or anything like that. But if every time you turn around, there's an excuse, right? There's a limit or a level, because your vulnerability can be a crutch, and that's dangerous. That's detrimental to your relationship. That's detrimental to your job, and that's detrimental to everything you got going on around you. Everybody will start to lose respect for you once your vulnerability becomes the crutch, and you can't allow that to happen. So there has to be a balance. Hey, look, I can handle this. Even though I think I can't handle it, I'm going to handle this. And the only thing that's going to do is make you stronger. Your partner is not going to let you die in that fight, right, before they even realize that something's wrong. So yes, you can be too vulnerable. You be vulnerable, but don't be a bitch.
I like that. And my wife gives me a hard time by utilizing that word right there, so I got to find another word. But you and I know what the hell we mean when we talk about don't be a bitch. Don't go too far with that.
Don't be soft, man. That's all. That's all. Don't be the person. Don't be the person, right? So, and let me give you this metaphor real quick that you can throw back at her, right? When you say don't be a bitch, right? So,
and this is not in regards to her, it's in regards when I speak of other men. Let me make sure.
Yeah. Please don't ever call her that.
Right.
No, but so in regards to other men, right? So female dogs, like literally in nature, right, are known as bitches, right? And the reason that you say that is because they do all of the barking, they do all of the growling, but unless their kids are involved directly, they're not doing no attacking. When it comes time to attack, they got to run and get the man. Right? That's nature. So when I say don't be a bitch, I'm literally meaning don't be all talk. And then when stuff gets hard, you got to go get somebody else. Don't be like that. Don't be that person. We need to be qualified, right, in order to be married, right? And that's another one. This is on a minor scale now, right? A lack of qualified men, because if you're not, listen, if you can't afford a baby, you can't afford to have sex. And if you can't afford to have sex, you can't afford to date. And if you can't afford to date, you ain't got no business in the marriage realm. This is grown folks talking over here. You sit at the kids' table until I finish my hand, right? And that's what it is, man. Financial, mental, and emotional security, and physical security. And if you're not in a position to provide these things, you're not at that level yet. And that's the problem. So with people take this red pill content and they wanna jump in the league that they're not ready for, right? You can go swim in Lake Ireland, right? Until the Loch Ness monster show up. You can go swim in the ocean until Free Willy show up, right? You can be the biggest shark in your circle, in your cove. But when you get into open water and there's sharks as big as you, how you gonna fare then? That's the real question.
Good point. So throughout the show, we've been talking about a variety of things leading up to why men are failing drastically in 2022. And I think we can agree, man to man, just talking and feeding off your energy and vibe, that there's becoming a change in energy when it comes to masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
So let me ask you specifically, why do males have a hard time expressing their feelings and resolving interpersonal conflict? And I'm asking that because we see it sometimes where men, such as you and I, we can have a conversation. Just say we have a third party. But you may have that one particular male or that other male that becomes very emotional. And in the conversation, before you know it, the conversation changes. And it's not a man-to-man conversation. It's now, put it out there, more of a bitch-like conversation. Let me just speak what it is.
Yeah, call it what it is.
So talk about that.
Well, in my personal opinion, and what I've come across, many men, is that we have a hard time expressing the feelings because we don't know what they are. Nobody's ever sat us down to talk to us about what our feelings are and how to properly process them, right? And you can go back to 70% or 74% single parent homes. You can go back to deadbeat dads. You can talk about how they've seen men treat their mom, right? Nobody has sat down and explained how to properly process emotions, right? There's a 3-step process that has to happen, right? You have to register the feeling, process the feeling, and then respond to the feeling. And we're not always walking that process. We can't do that. We don't have the ability to do that because we haven't been out of our comfort zone in so long. And now you put 2 years of nobody dealing with anybody, right? We were keyboard warriors from 2019 all the way to 2021, right? We forgot that there were consequences to our words and our actions, right? So we became socially awkward, socially distant, and with that social and emotional distance, literally became emotional distance. So with that being said, like you can't process something that you don't recognize. And I think a lot of men don't recognize what their feelings are, nor the internal conflict. And as a result, you lash out into something that's primal because you want to draw the same reaction out of me that you're feeling right now. You don't want me to understand you. You want me to feel the way that you're feeling.
Right.
And that's when it takes somebody with some seniority, somebody with some wisdom to be like, hey, wait a minute, let's de-escalate this. I'll discuss anything with you, but I'm not going to argue with you about anything.
Right.
And that's what I've seen. A lot of people just don't know what they are, what the emotions are. I know I feel this type of way. Okay, well, what you're feeling is sadness. What you're feeling is anger. What you're feeling is resentment. And here's why. Here's what. I can give you all the exercises in the world as long as I know what I'm dealing with, right? But if I don't know what I'm dealing with because you don't know what you're dealing with, then what are we doing? We're both just guessing. We're both hypothesizing, throwing shit against the wall to see if it sticks. And it's not good for anybody because we don't have that kind of time.
I remember listening to an interview that Jay-Z did, and he was talking about he was on the street, and it was a guy that was just staring at him, mean-mugging. To the point that he wasn't for sure if he was actually looking at him, and Jay-Z said, I looked back and there wasn't nobody behind me. And this guy was really just mean-mugging. And he said, I asked him, hello, how you doing? And he said, you mind if I get your autograph? And Jay-Z said, I don't mind. But he said, I was kind of intimidated and kind of a little scared because it's the way he was looking at me. And that goes back to what you're talking about in regards to this conversation. Sometimes men are to be expressing themselves in a sad, it will come off in an angry way, but they maybe want to express it in a sad way. And
right.
In an angry way, it's going to cause confusion because now, as a man, I'm sizing you up because I'm not for sure what the hell your intentions are. And your intentions may not be volatile whatsoever, But if you're displaying volatile tendencies,
I have to respond in kind. Yeah.
So with that being said, I want to ask you, brother, how can guys benefit from our platforms in regards to communication?
We're both life coaches, so between the two of us, man, we got like almost 20 years of experience, right? Between the two platforms, man, they're safe spaces. We come here. Yours is literally the real man talking. Mine's is literally Grownmanlogic.
Yep.
Right. Like, I don't think that's that parallel and the chances of us meeting. I don't think that's by chance. I don't think it's by coincidence.
Right.
I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in God, right? So, that you can benefit, man. At the end of every episode, man, I tell you how to get in contact with me. I tell you, hey, you can hit me up, you can text me, you can DM me, you can, email me. Same with you. And these platforms are here to listen for you as a man to listen, because you may be going through something, and there's chances are, I'm willing to bet that there's somebody else going through it too. So you're not alone. So it gives you that iron sharpens iron response. It gives you another way of thinking about things. It gives you a reality check, and it gives you a safe space to come and vent to, because there's no judgment on either one of these platforms. And that right there, we are our own virtual support group. But it's up to you to make the connection.
Brother, thanks for putting that out there. And you said something, man, that resonated with me. As you stated, man, we have these platforms designed for men for a safe haven. But at the same time, you have to utilize it, man. And as you stated earlier, DeJuan, and with the coaching you do and the things I hear, man, I tell men all the time, you're not the only one going through this, man.
Nope.
You'd be surprised how many men are going through what you're going through, but you have to open up. You have to talk. You can't deal with this shit by yourself.
Right. Absolutely crazy. I mean, you can't, and you'd be a fool to try to, right? Because if you could deal with it by yourself, this wouldn't be the third week you're going through, right? This wouldn't be a month, 2 months, if you could deal with it by yourself. And to say that you can't deal with it by yourself, that's not an insult to you. You just don't have the tools. You don't have the resources. Maybe not the knowledge, maybe not the wisdom, maybe not the mental capacity to even, you don't know what's available, right? Why? Because you don't know what you don't know until it's time to know it.
And as a senior leader, man, in the military, you deal with a lot. You deal with a lot because not only are you working your job, you're a goddamn counselor, you're a therapist, you're a physical therapist, you're a PT instructor. And in the military, man, we see some of the saddest stories when it comes to relationships, man.
Yeah, man.
And sometimes you got to be that shoulder to the crown. And depends on where you're at. You may be downrange where bullets coming, man, and you have to, sometimes deal with those issues and those situations because something's going back wrong at home.
Yeah.
So you're talking to a life coach that has a lot of experience. Let me ask you this, brother. What made you decide to develop your platform?
It was Kendra and Carla that did it, right? Like, so,
Who?
Kendra and Carla. So, Grownmanlogic was actually started by two women. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was on our virtual book tour for my first book, Dear Dominic, available on Amazon.com. Where
what's the name of the book?
Dear Dominic is the name of that book.
Go get it. It's on Amazon. Go get the book, Dear Dominic.
Yeah, man, please. So I was on a book tour promoting that book, which is a self-help book, but it's more towards like the teenager, right? Like it's written to the 16-year-old version of my son. So I was on there, and I went on Carla's platform first. It was called She Blows It podcast. I'm not sure how active it is anymore. And then I went on Kendra's Coffee with Kendra podcast.
Yes.
So after that, Eric, my current co-host, had a roundtable discussion about the differences between men and women. He invited me. They were both there, and we were doing the majority of the speaking, right? The back and forth, the banter, the bringing the smoke, so to speak. And afterwards, Carla started following me on Instagram, but every day I would put in my Instagram story some kind of hey, Grownmanlogic, and I'd make a statement, right? And she's like, hey, you should turn this stuff into podcast topics. These are dope. And I was like, nah, I don't have time for that. Like, you know what I mean? I'm focused on getting back to the WWE. I'm trying to, you know what I'm saying? I got this book that I'm working on right now. I got a couple acting projects on the side. I think at the time, I had like 5 clients that were all like on the verge of, you know, harming themselves. And I was like, I don't have time for that. She was like, well, just try it out. And I was like, all right. So she was like, okay, but if you was going to do it, what day would you do it? And I was like, I don't know, probably like a Thursday. Like, there's nothing going on a Thursday. Everybody's inside. So she's like, oh, yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, around what time did you do it? And I was like, you know, I don't know, probably like 9. And I was living in Virginia at the time. And the whole time that I'm answering her questions, she's telling Kendra. She said, hey, Kendra, come on. Like, we got to do this. Blah, 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 this, that, and the third. So they both came back. And Carla was like, yeah, Kendra's down to do this. Blah, blah, blah. We need you and her. And I was like, oh, no. Too much testosterone. I mean, too much estrogen in the room. Yeah. So I reached out to E and I was like, yo, E, look, I know you got your own podcast. They got their own podcast. This, then, thing. Listen, all I need y'all to do is show up. I'll ask the questions. I'll play. You know what I'm saying? I'll do the editing. I'll do the marketing. I'll do all I need y'all to show up and talk shit. They all 3 agreed. Boom. We do 1 episode. It takes off. Gone. So then all my fans, followers, friends from wrestling, fans, friends, followers from acting, boom, they all flock there. Oh, it's so dope. You got a podcast, bro. Okay, cool. We'll go. We'll see how it goes. All right, boom. Next thing you know, we're having business meetings and we're having, hey, let's talk about this week. Wait, we should do pajama parties. Okay, let's do bowl. And next thing you know, so then I kind of took it. I felt like I was responsible because I had asked these people to help me. So now I have to give it 120% because they bought in. I asked them, all they had to do was show up. So if they showed up and talked, hey, they upheld their end of the deal. So now it's up to me for it to be a success. So I kind of took it on my shoulders, man, started developing logos, learned how to graphic design. I learned, podcast etiquette, microphones, sounds, things like that. Boom, boom, boom. One thing led to another, and here we are.
Man, congratulations, brother. And I've been watching this for over 2022, and I've seen you grow your channel, man, as well as growing yourself. And I didn't realize you was into wrestling, man, so I heard you slide that in there.
Yeah, man. That's I make my return to the ring in February. So
congratulations, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I was a COVID casualty, man. I deployed, so they kind of wrote me out of the story, and then they just let my contract expire with COVID cuts and everything like that. So I had to literally work my way back into like the ring. So
wow.
Yeah, it was good.
Good job. Something else we got to talk about later on. So tell me, man, how has this space changed you, man?
This space like opened my mind even more, right? So being the life coach, I would always kind of, like we were talking about offline, I would always kind of like unlock what people's potential was, but they knew. But I would also kind of steer them in one direction, because that was the way I thought. I thought that way, so I was, hey, this works for me, this is gonna work for you. But being in this space, having conversations like this one, this is a man-to-man conversation, but I've been in the man-to-man conversations where, my co-host and I were on completely opposite ends of the spectrum, right? And we had to make that work for an hour, right? I've been in platforms where I would say something that some woman took disrespectfully in the beginning of a show, and we had to make that work for an hour. So this space has changed me because it makes me think more critically, and it makes me more sensitive to other thought patterns and processes. And it taught me how to play verbal judo, like even better.
Okay. Interesting. So tell me, maybe you're coaching all over. How are you assisting veterans to move that needle and escape that pain point? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of veterans are reaching out to you, even though you're still active, but I'm pretty sure veterans are reaching out to you. How are you helping them move the needle and escape that pain point?
Well, so I am providing resources, right? Or the information about resources. So I don't know, last year, for those of y'all that follow the Grownmanlogic podcast, we fed 51 families, like over half of those people were veterans. I'm going to VAs and I'm pulling information, right? Like I come across a veteran, I listen to what they got going on. I'll go do the legwork for them. Hey, look, Boom, here's this, and this. Like some of the stuff, the majority of the stuff is in my wheelhouse, right? The majority of the stuff is like, hey, I got this myself. But there's sometimes where it's not, right? So, hey, man, I'm in danger of losing my house. I mismanaged my finances. Okay, cool. Well, check this out. Here's a grant, from Grownmanlogic, right? But this grant is contingent upon you attending this budgeting and financial management class. So like now, I'm gonna give you a fish, but I'm gonna teach you to fish at the same time. I'm gonna feed you this time, but I'm not feeding you anymore. So you can go learn this. I'm gonna bail you out of this one, or if somebody's thinking about harming themselves or what have you, like listen, I will go pick you up. I will pick you up myself. I have been called in the middle of the night. I have sent the Uber from 5 states away.
Oh, wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, look, man, I can't get to you right now, but I know for a fact that there's a hospital, 6 blocks from you, and there's gonna be a car coming right now. Just stay on the phone with me until the car gets there. I'll talk to the person. I'll dispatch the Uber from like where I am. Boom, they'll go pick up the person. Take him to the hospital. I just do what I can. Like, you know what I mean? This platform, it does what it can. But for the most part, man, a lot of people just lack information, right? A lot of pain comes from a feeling of hopelessness, and hopelessness comes from a lack of knowledge and a lack of information. So the information literally is the most powerful thing that you can do. I'll give you the hug that you need, but I'm going to show you how to overcome this at the same time.
I love it, man. If y'all have any questions, I want y'all to go on and ask the questions because Brother DeJuan, I got to get him out here. I held him longer than anticipated. I wasn't trying to hold you this long, brother. But it's been an amazing conversation. So if y'all have any questions, please ask the questions. Last question I want to ask you, man, what are the goals for 2023?
Goals for 2023. I'll be releasing my 3rd book. I will be appearing in a very popular television show that I can't really give the details out to right now, but stay tuned to the TV and remember this face because you will be seeing me soon. Return to the ring. I'm actually working with a friend of mine, Jay Burrows from the HR Royal Family, and we're trying to write a movie and get that off the ground. There'll be a spoken word album coming out. There will. Oh man, what else? I'm looking at sponsoring or becoming an owner of a tequila, and just continuing to make Dominic some money. I work for him at this point. Like you know what I'm saying?
And to the people who don't know, tell them who Dominic is.
So Dominic is my 2-year-old boss, right? So Dominic is my first son. Right, so you heard me make reference to the book Dear Dominic earlier. So Dear Dominic was the book to him, and so all of the proceeds from that, I don't see a dime of it. It literally goes straight to his 529 plan. For those of y'all who don't know what a 529 plan is, a 529 plan is something you can set up for your kid today. And it's money for them to go to college. And as you continue to add the funds to that, right, that it begins to accrue interest, right? So if your kid say 10, you got 8 years to grow this 529 plan. So he's 2. So we did that for him. All of the proceeds from that book go directly to there. Dominic is also the executive producer of Grownmanlogic. I did that. Why? Because ad revenue, sponsorships, and things of that nature, all of that money coming in, he gets his cut off the top as the executive producer. He's the investor. Why? Because he made me into a better man, and that's what I chose to give to him to pay him back. So, at the end of 2024, we got a 2-year-old that's going to have a net worth of $1.5 million. So it's definitely doable, and I encourage you guys to do that. Why? Because if we want our children to truly be better, we have to do the legwork for them because they don't have the information yet, and that's what we owe them, that because they didn't have to come to this world, and we at least have to put them on equal footing.
Man, good job, brother. I want to tell you, man, thank you so much, man, for coming on the platform.
Thank you for having me,
man. And I'll be looking to do more work with you, man. I want to tell you more blessings to all your endeavors that you got going on. And how can people find you and reach you, man?
You can find me on Instagram at Grownmanlogic, or at DeJuan O'Neal 1. Grownmanlogic is more the podcast side where I'm spitting knowledge like this. But if you're looking for your daily like life coach hits, you want DeJuan O'Neal, the number 1. I'm on TikTok, DeJuan_GML. Twitter, Grownmanlogic. You can catch the 2 books, right, on Amazon or shop GrownmanLogicPod.com. Dear Dominic and Keep It G are both over there. What else? YouTube, Grownmanlogic Podcast, right, where the VSOP Lounge lives, right, which is a separate podcast, similar content, separate podcast from Grownmanlogic. I'm also running that. You can, if you're looking for life coaching advice to book a consultation, right, you can email me, talk2gml@gmail.com, talk2gml@gmail.com, or you can call or text me directly, 805-738-2766, 805-738-2766. If you text me, I will get back to you as soon as possible. If you call me, please leave a voicemail, and if I'm available, I'll pick up that immediately. That's it. But please grab your copy of one of these. Grab one.
Keep it G, and they can find it on Amazon, correct?
It's Amazon.com and shopGrownmanLogicPod.com.
Good job. Y'all go out there and cop it and support the brother, man. He's doing some amazing things. And once again, he's making a major difference, man. And be looking see more of Brother DeJuan J in 2023, man. Brother,
yes.
Thank you, man, for everything that you're doing, man. And once again, look to do some more work with you, man. And just keep doing, keep the spirit, keep the positive energy, man. And good luck at everything that you're doing for you and your family, brother.
Thanks for allowing me to come up here and on your platform and chop it up for you, man. I definitely enjoyed this conversation. I'm looking forward to many more just like it.
Likewise, brother. Likewise, man. Thank you so much, man, and enjoy the rest of your weekend, sir.
Cheers.
Y'all, thank you so much for tuning into the Real Man Talk with Brother DeJuan J from the Grownmanlogic podcast. Go over there to support the podcast. Go over there and like and follow. Very interesting conversations. And also, reach out to him if you're looking for a coach, 805-738-2766. As well, let's go to CoachHightower.com and support what we have going on as well, man. And just keep listening, man, and stay plugged in. This year went by real quick, man. 2022 is not over. I think I'm probably going to do one more episode, and I'm going to go take a break. Your boy need a break. But I want to thank you all for taking out the time, just listening to the show, supporting the show. And as I tell you all the time, and everybody has greatness in them. It's all about how you bring that greatness out of you. Till then, I see you all and have an amazing weekend. And I'll catch you in a minute, Brother DeJuan. Don't hang up yet.